Hi everybody, Don Giannatti here, Lighting Essentials. Man, it's been a while since I've done one of these things. I've just been buried under Project 52, getting it up for spring of 2019. If you're interested in Project 52, I'll tell you a little bit at the end of the video, but if you're interested, there's a link down below. We only have a few more days here in March of 2019 to enroll you. We'll take enrollments through the first week of April, but I only have, I think, 4 seats left. So it's a small group, 20 people. It's a lot of work, a lot of fun, but we're ready to go for 2019, spring 2019. But let's look at some food and still life shots, shall we? I think this is really an important thing for everybody here to understand. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on gear. You don't have to spend a ton of time. With gear, you can be very simple in operation if you plan your shots accordingly. I'm going to show you a couple of really nice pictures here taken from some of the students in Project 52 and in the 8-week classes. Starting out with this great shot by Virginia Long. It's a food still life shot, and right off the bat we notice something. At least photographers notice something, and it's something that's done very well. The light is window light. Virginia is pretty much a natural light photographer, so she's got a window to camera left. You can see the big windows in the highlights here. You can see the highlights on the cherries, everything, or little apples, or whatever those are that she's doing. But you can also see that she's lit up the contents of this jar, because this jar has got some red jelly in it, and we can frankly see through the red jelly to that dark background. But she's added a little bit of a card here to shine it through, just like this. Here's the shot. Here's the shot with the white card, and then she simply brought the white card into this picture with masking in Photoshop. So she simply blended the two pictures together. And you can see how much more life there is to this shot. Just a tremendous amount of work gone into this. She's using white cards all around for her lighting, and it's really well done. Next up is Carla McMahon and her lovely, lovely shots of, I think these are prunes or something like that. As you can tell, I don't eat a lot of vegetables or fruits. I guess I don't know. I'm pretty much a broccoli, cauliflower, green bean guy. And oranges. I like oranges a lot. But look at the light on this. It's just really gorgeous. We get all of these lines. She's using the focus right on this particular fig or plum or whatever this is. Maybe it's a fig. And keeping this one focused, surrounding it by ones that are slightly out of focus, really brings it to the fore. The plate is beautifully lit. We've got it all the way around. Where the plate goes dark, she brings us the rim. So otherwise there would be this big black hole over here. We don't need to see this. Where the plate goes back there, she brings us the rim. Again, so we see it. So we know these are sitting on something. And where the rim goes black up front, she makes sure that there's light on the background, so it's brought out from it. Also notice this beautiful highlight here. So that this particular fig, plum, what have you, really stands out from that one. We've got a little bounce card over on the left. Her lighting is simply this awesome place where she has all this natural light. Black cards running around, working hard, blocking some light so it's not coming straight through, but also letting some light come under the bottom of this. Do you see how cool that is? She's really controlling this corner of the shoot here. And then white cards on this side to provide the fill. Where are they placed? Well, they're placed at the right location to give this fill. So they're not necessarily, I think a lot of photographers think, oh, well, you always put the white card right there. I don't know, this white card might be 4 feet away. It's where it has to be to give the look that she wants to have. There's no right or wrong to it at all. And this guy sitting over here with a nice bright highlight going right up into that very dark area. Wow, really well done shot by Carla McMahon. We have 3 shots by this shooter, fairly prolific shooter up in Calgary. This is Rioux. Carol's specialty, interestingly enough, is automotive, but when it gets really cold outside, like it does in Calgary a lot, she comes on inside and starts shooting product and still life and food. So we've got these great little mushrooms. Look at the light on these mushrooms. Look at the light overall with this great feeling of light coming in across these boards. It just feels warm and inviting. And then the mushrooms are lit from the side of the light and this side over here. And there's something popping over here. And they just have this very ethereal look. They look great. This natural monotone sort of background is incredible. What did she do? Well, fairly simply. Big softbox, and these are shiny boards. See, she made a V of shiny boards here. She shot through that opening right there. So the big V of shiny boards is bouncing back. Let's look. One shiny board's brighter than the other shiny board because of the angle Carol's using here to get these boards to light up. Shiny boards are reflective specular sources. They're not white boards. White boards are diffuse light. The entire white board lights up. This is like a mirror. You can angle it and you can get hotter light and softer light by the angle. It's like a specular coming from a chrome bumper versus a matte painted white wall. There's 2 types of light there. Understanding that is what Carol uses to make this tremendous photograph. I really like this photograph that Carol did. Look at the beautiful feeling of light coming in. The old props are great. We got a good feeling of the texture of the cloth. The tomatoes are just almost glowing. They look so great. Part of the reason that we like this so much is that we have this nice bright highlight over here, as we normally would have, but then we have this very poppy highlight from this side. And this, our brain sees, our mind sees this as, what's going on? See, we're used to having things in one light. We see light from the time we're like 3 days old. We're seeing light. When people say, I don't know how to light, I go, yes, you do. You absolutely do. You've been looking at light your whole life. You just now have to start to see it instead of just look at it. See it, and it'll start to make sense. Want to see some beautiful lighting? Go to your art museum and check out the Renaissance masters, because they painted light. Carol is a light painter, by the way. None of these shots are light painted, but that's something that she does, and she does it very well. So look at the luminous quality of these tomatoes. We've got a highlight on both sides, and that tells us there's dimension over here. We don't know what this is coming from, but it's coming from over there. Here's how she did it. She's got her softbox. She hung a silk in front of the softbox. Notice that the tomatoes are actually in the feather of the softbox. The softbox is pretty much lighting up, well, that beautiful black carpet or so whatever rug that is down there. But the edge of the softbox is what's lighting up the tomatoes. She wanted to get the softbox to be brighter at the top, less bright at the bottom. Her light source. So she hung a silk. Notice that the light source is closer here, farther away here, and very far away here. So the silk has a gradient on it. And that gradient is seen in the light. Bright down to soft. It's small. It's not a big thing, but it's what makes the shot work. And it's what separates being a detailed photographer, being a good photographer, from being someone who takes pictures. Nothing wrong with taking pictures, but this is beyond that. She's got, Yeah, English minor worked out great. She has her shiny board over here for the very powerful highlight that we see there and there. And then she has a white reflector down here with a strobe that's literally lighting up this white reflector. She's using this as her fill, her ambient fill. So let's go back and look at the shot again. You can see the ambient fill is bright enough to keep this edge of the wood and this cloth all lit up. Not bright, but that she's controlling with her power. It's not bright, it's just there. If that was not going off, the front of this table, this wood, and this side of the cloth would probably go black because there's nothing there. Look at her set. There's nothing out here for it to reflect. So she's controlling the ambient back into the set. Really, really well done. And one more from Carol, because what the heck, she's on a roll. These great blueberries, the muffins. We've got the light coming in, just got a great feeling to the light, what's going on here. And what she's doing is right here. There's a window over here. She's got some cards up to just let a very sliver of light come through there. She has diffusion in front of that window and everything, so she ends up with this very bright little streak of light going through. And then over here she's got a shiny board to bounce the light back. She has something in front of the shiny board to create a flag on the reflected light. This is flagging the reflected light. The tomato on top of the glass here is simply for weight to hold the shiny board down. It has nothing to do with the lighting here or anything else. The glass is up against the shiny board, and just to hold it up and adding a little bit of diffuse light forward. You can see the glass is lighting up here. A little bit of diffuse, but keeping that sharp light. Let's go back and look. You can see the diffused light in here from the glass, the cup lighting up, and then you have that direct reflection from the shiny boards going through. Pretty remarkable photograph. That's Carol Rioux up in Calgary. Graham Kite's down in Australia. It's winter for Carol and it's summer for Graham. It's going into winter now for Graham. Beautiful. Look at the highlights here. Look at the feeling all the way through here. Look, he kept detail in the sugar frosting. If you think that's easy, try it. You got, I mean, your exposure's got to you just got to nail it. You got to know what you're doing. And you know, I'm sure someone's going, well, I'll just fix it in Photoshop. Yeah, whatever. You can do that, I guess, if that's the extent to that's the extent to your desire to be a photographer. Yeah, you can fix it in Photoshop, I suppose. However, it's even better to get it right in camera. Then in Photoshop, you can just tweak it a little bit and make it even better. Graham knows what he's doing here. Lovely shot. But well, look, we've got that second light coming from that side. Look at this highlight right here on this side. We've got a highlight over here. We've got some highlight in here. What do you think this highlight is here in the raspberry? Well, it's this white here, lighting up the raspberry. Let's take a look at what he did lighting-wise. This isn't the same shot, the same item, but the lighting remains the same. It's two soft boxes, one slightly back, one side, and then he is using control on the power to make the one slightly back on the left more powerful, the one on the right just kind of coming in and giving a nice little highlight there and cleaning up the shadows. Even though we're not getting rid of all the shadows, there's a little bit of shadow under there. We're just cleaning it up. Graham Kite in Australia. Got a couple from Julie. Julie is in Boston. This almost old-fashioned still life here, like old spoons and forks and knives that she's collected. Beautiful. I love the reflected light in the wine here in the cup. See these two little guys there? This highlight here and this highlight here. Well, those highlights are from the inside of this cup on this side, because the light, as you can see, is coming in from there, from that angle in. And that angled light is hitting the inside of the cup, putting a couple little lines of specular on it, and then it's being reflected back in that side of the cup. But look what it does. It makes it just feel alive, doesn't it? Look at the great highlights here on the grapes. Everything is so well controlled. The silverware looks good. There's a great softness to it. The neat thing about it is that Julie has a little space, a little studio that she works out of, and her choice for lighting is this window with that round diffuser. Now, the round diffuser comes down but leaves that little poppy light here. She uses that light and this light in her lighting. They're a little bit different. This adds a little bit of a pop to it. Go back over here. You can see what's going on with this beautiful highlighting here. But just a little bit of pop right in here. It's very nice. She uses it for a lot of stuff. When you find something that works, you stay with it. Here's another shot by Julie. She added a little fog to this to make it a little more romantic. Great composition. I just love the liquid chocolate coming down here. I really like the mist that she added to it. How did she do it? Same thing, same window, same diffuser. Not fancy by any means at all. Okay? Just well thought out. And that's the key. Well thought out lighting. So we go from studio to fairly complex here to natural light, window light. It's all involved here. Let's take a look at our shooters one last time. We have Julie in Boston. We have Graham, Carol, and Carol, Carla, and Virginia. So some great shots by some Project 52 students. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what I'm doing here, hit the subscribe button. Send me a note. Let me know what you use for still life lighting. What's your main go-to if you have one? And if you're interested in Project 52, there's a link down below. Love to have you join us. I want to do more of these. I really do. I keep saying that, and man, life gets in the way fast, doesn't it? Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. I'll see you next time. Bye.